Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Rosser, the author of Combative Elbow Strikes, and I'm here today with a training tip on the downward elbow strike. Now why the downward elbow strike? Well, this is a strike that I cover in my book, but it's also an elbow strike that I don't think gets enough attention in the dojo or the dojo. A lot of times everybody thinks that that's an extremely easy elbow strike to execute. I mean, it's downward, we're thinking about, gravity and dropping our body weight. But there's more to it than that. And we can really make this a dynamic and explosive elbow strike if we know how to use the body and the different ways of generating energy, which I mentioned in the book, to put those together and get the most out of the elbow strike. When you do a downward elbow strike, there's a couple different ways that we're creating energy in this elbow strike. One way, if I'm just static and I've got my arm in front of me, is I'm getting downward energy. Okay, I'm using the energy of this downward motion as well as gravity and dropping my weight to get a power behind that elbow strike. I'm also using an expanding and then contracting energy. Okay, so I'm using those two different ways of making energy, making power to make this elbow strike. Now, if we want to add to that, we can get that rotational energy. And a lot of times you see when the elbow strike comes from back here, I'm using my hips. My hips rotate and drop that elbow strike down. And ideally, that's the way I want to be. A lot of times I get somebody's head down, maybe it's from a kick, I get that head down, I've got this arm up. I want to use this rising energy, this rising action, the falling action, the rotation of my hips, and the contraction of my torso, the expansion and contraction to generate power into this strike. And we can generate a lot of power in this strike. I'm going to give you an example, just one second. Here we've got a board. Pretty strong, pretty sturdy board. I don't have anybody holding this board at the moment. But I'm just going to use one hand, which anybody who knows a lot about breaking knows that speed breaks are some of the hardest ones to do. When you hold a board with one hand, you've got to be fast, you've got to be dynamic and explosive. There has to be a lot of energy in that technique for the board to break. That's why I want to show you this way, because I'm going to use this downward elbow strike using these forces, this motion, to break the board. Okay, but I have to put everything together. The rotational energy, the downward energy, the contraction, everything into this. And then even when we breathe out, kiap, we're also getting that contracting energy, okay? Or expanding energy, depending on whether we're inhaling or exhaling. So, here we go. So you saw before I put this together, very sturdy board. Again, it's just all about being explosive and putting these different energies together. So work on that on your downward elbow strike. Remember, it's not just about taking the arm and driving down. We want to get this expansion and contraction in our core. We want to get this rotation of the hips. Okay? We want to get that dropping energy, even using the knees, dropping that weight into it. If we put that together, your elbow strike will be much more powerful, exponentially more powerful, if you add these different parts together. So, thank you for watching my video. If you haven't checked out my book yet, go get it. It's you can get it through Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, iTunes, or any of your favorite book retailers. Name of the book is Combative Elbow Strikes. You'll see more information about the downward elbow strike and some applications for it. So I appreciate you watching. Check out some of my other videos.